Hi everyone, it's Kimberly from Tokyo Pen Shop and welcome to Guided Journaling 8, How to Do a Brain Dump. So all that stuff you're juggling vaguely in your mind can really start to feel like a geyser about to erupt, right? Brain dumps can be great for releasing that pressure safely. So today we are going to be talking about how easy it is to do brain dumps and how helpful they can be for you. So real quick, before we get into the brain dump, I wanted to say that I did get some comments on my last video that there are people who are regularly watching these on Sundays. So we'll keep up that schedule and I'll release them every Sunday. And coming up around guided journaling number 10, I think we're going to be doing a giveaway. So stay tuned for that and I will update you all with more information as it gets closer to that. Let's get into this brain dump. Brain dumps are so easy in terms of how just freestyle they are and so impactful. So what I'm going to have you do is set a timer for 10 minutes. Now, I'm going to be doing this for 10 minutes, but I'm probably going to be like fast forwarding through it because I don't think you guys want to watch me writing my brain dump for 10 minutes. But I want you to give yourself the amount of time you want. You know, maybe it's a little bit less than 10 minutes, maybe it's a little more. This is totally up to you. Maybe it depends on how much stressful stuff you feel like is in your head right now that you need to dump out. So the main thing with brain dumps is that there are really no rules. You just want to get all of that stuff cluttering your mind out onto paper. And then I'm going to show you what you do with it after you get it all out. So set your timer, pause the video, and then let's meet back here when you're done with your brain dump. Okay, so after you've given yourself 10 minutes or so of brain dump time, I want you to grab some highlighters. You don't have to do it this way, but I think it really helps because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use highlighters to categorize themes in my brain dump. So for example, I have some things that are just quick tasks that I can do, and they're kind of like low-hanging fruit, things that I could just like do and get done quickly. So like, for example, give prizes to library. I can message Tara about Thursday. Let's see. Okay. So those are a couple of things on my brain dump that I could just, if I decided to, I could spend, 10 minutes and just getting those off my list, because they just involve a text message and me dropping something off on my way home. So if I were you, I would pull these out into a little to-do list for the day. Now, we're also going to see a theme of stuff I've got to figure out for Henry, right? So I'm going to give that its own color here. And these are all kind of medium-sized errands that I've been putting off that I need to do related to my son. There's some bigger projects on my list here that I just need to figure out. So for example, I'm feeling a little behind in my dog's training. So I want to kind of reevaluate and get a plan for her leash pulling and recall. Oh yeah, and then she keeps getting me up at night, so I kind of need to figure out that issue too. So I'm gonna work on that. And then I feel like I've got a bunch of tasks that I've been putting off for work that I'm going to categorize here. Okay, so I'm going to start creating some lists from my brain dump so that I can really kind of compartmentalize these things and start working on them. So I'm going to have some Henry tasks. I'm going to have my simple to-do list. I'm going to have a list of work projects that have been bugging me. And I'm just going to start organizing things like that. And if you're a planner, like I actually am in real life, I would have different areas in my planner. And in fact, my work stuff is kept separate from my personal stuff. So I would have different places that I would actually move these into. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just kind of showing you kind of on one page here how I would separate these things out. And you just kind of write down what you need to so that you know that next time you are able to have some time to work in these areas, you can just start checking stuff off your list. And at this stage, you'll probably already start to feel a little better, especially if you've got a couple quick to-do list things that you can just check off. It's really good to just get those checked off because that's like a less crud that's going to be tossing around in your brain, This also helps you with that fear that you're going to forget something important. Okay. Sometimes you also will figure out something that you thought was a big thing you got to figure out is actually a pretty small thing. Like, for example, I signed my son up for an acro tumbling class. I have no idea what he's supposed to wear. I don't need to make a big deal about this. For one thing, I can do my best, send him on the first day, and see what other kids are wearing. This is not a big deal, but this is the kind of thing that it all like builds up in my mind and I get stressed out about it. It's kind of just unnecessary stress, really. And then I'll see like this. Like, I've been promising to take him. He's really excited to get his own bank account. So having this here reminds me to go get it done for him, but I also am able to just look at this and be like, look, I have a lot on my plate right now. If it's gonna, it's fine if this takes a while, and then I just tell him, hey, I don't have time yet to take you to get that bank account. But I think you can probably start to see how getting this stuff out and kind of separated into the compartments it belongs in, instead of just all jumbled up in your head, is going to start feeling much, much better. And then you're going to see too some things that really are like, maybe a day-long size project that you need to find time to schedule in. And some things you might look and say, you know what? So I have this thing. How can I get rid of some things in my schedule so that I have more time for self-care? So I really wanted to sit down and think about that for a while. So this actually can be a journaling session in and of itself, where I can just sit down and kind of do a similar thing, but with all the things I have to do. What can I get off my plate? And I already see this. So I signed up for this uncluttered course. And you know what? I think that this is something that I can just say, I don't really need to prioritize this in my life right now. It was overly ambitious. I can just cross this off, be done with it. You might write down some things, like if you're having interpersonal conflict with someone, that need to do some CTFAR work. I will link right here to the video, the guided journaling video, where I talk about that, because you might run into that where you need to kind of figure out how to rethink the issue. It doesn't seem like I really have anything on my list right now, but it would be normal for me to have something like that in there. Yeah, so hopefully this sort of gives you an idea of how to brain dump, what to kind of do with a brain dump to get it more organized. You're going to develop your own system, but my trigger to brain dump is usually that I start to feel a little bit like, stressed, and like I'm going to forget things. I think really productive people are probably going to tell you that doing it regularly to more like prevent that feeling is the most effective way. So just start, doing it somewhat regularly and see how it feels for you. And as always, let me know if you have any questions, and if you have any successes with your brain dumps. I really want to hear about them. So let me know below, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.